The Prospects for Success podcast would like to extend our heartfelt sympathies to the family and friends and teammates of Lucas Otto, who passed away as a result of a traffic accident. Early Thursday morning, June 30th, Lucas was a sophomore at Lakeland College in Mattoon, Illinois, and at a picture for the Springfield Lucky Horseshoes. He will be greatly missed by all who knew him.
I'm Gavin Murphy, manager of the Prospect League's Champion City Kings, and you're listening to the Prospects for Success podcast.
Hi, I'm Quentin.
And I'm Michael.
And this is Prospects for Success podcast, where we bring you our thoughts on Prospect League baseball.
News, notes, opinions, and our favorite happenings.
Thanks for joining us for episode 7. Joining us today is Ryan Kearney. Ryan is the broadcaster for the Prospect League O'Fallon Hoots in O'Fallon, Missouri. Ryan is an Illinois native and a graduate of the University of Iowa. Ryan, welcome to the Prospects for Success podcast.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys. Really looking forward to chatting today a little bit about the Hoots and different things going on in the Prospect League and different things that have kind of gone in my career. Really appreciate you guys reaching out and excited to chat with you guys.
Awesome. We really appreciate it. Hey, Ryan, we want to give you a shout out too. You're also the host of 2 podcasts. You've got Rody on the Horn and Front Office U that are both running. Tell us a little bit about those podcasts that you work with.
Yeah, sure. Two kind of different type podcasts you said are both involved in the sports industry. I started Rody on the Horn first. I actually started that podcast with a friend of mine who I met just playing Xbox together. So kind of funny how things come together sometimes. But he and I, my friend Donnie, we started up a podcast pretty much just for us to kind of casually share some of our different sports takes with what's going on in the sports world. So NHL, NBA, NFL, NBA, the 4 major sports, we try to hit on those pretty much every podcast. And just try to bring together a nice community of people to learn more about what we think's going on in sports. We get questions from people as well. So that one's a little bit more casual, kind of just a fun, laid-back podcast with Rody on the Horn. And then for Front Office U, that's a little bit different structured podcast. I do that with 4 other of my friends who also work in the sports industry. And our focus there is to interview different people that work in sports, learn more about their career paths, their current jobs, and trying to help out some people that are aspiring to work in the sports industry, learn a little bit more about how they can get there. So yeah, that one's a lot of fun. We started that one up a little less than a year ago at this point, and we've had a bunch of different interviews, people with the Atlanta Hawks, Miami Dolphins, really all over the sports industry. I have a friend who's a Finnish hockey player who joined us for a show. That was a really good episode. Austin Bruins. So tons of different guests that we've had so far on Front Office U. But yeah, I love doing podcasts, and appreciate you guys for reaching out and shouting us out here at the start.
All right, so tell us a little bit about what a game day looks like for you and your position with the O'Fallon Hoots, both a home game or away game.
Sure, so it's definitely different for home and away. I guess I could start with the home games first. So I guess it would kind of depend first on if we have a doubleheader or just a regular home game, regular 9-inning game, because we've had a number of doubleheaders already this season, and we have another coming up next weekend. But those games will start about an hour earlier if we have a doubleheader at about 5:30. But if we have a regular 9-inning game, it'll start at about 6:30. So either way, whichever, if it's a home doubleheader or just a regular home game, I'll usually come into the field at about between 1 or 2 p.m. Get some lunch beforehand, make sure that I'm awake and feeling good by the time I get in there. And then once I do get into the field at about 1 or 2, I'll usually start by just going over some of my preparation for the upcoming opponent that day. So one of the responsibilities that me and my other broadcaster Lucas have is putting together the game notes that we give out to fans. So when they come in, they want to learn a little bit more about our team, a little bit more about their team. We have some information that we hand out to them. So every day we got to make sure that's updated with the latest stats and latest information on when roster changes or opponents. So a lot of making sure that we're all set in terms of handing out the roster information. And then the other side of my preparation really comes in when I'm preparing for our opponent, because I see the Hoots every day. I have a pretty good knowledge in terms of what they're doing. But new opponents every day, they have changes to their roster. I'm always making sure I'm getting their updated information. I go onto their college school's website to see if they have have any kind of fun facts or information that I could share on the broadcast. So a lot of it is just kind of coming down to preparation because, when you do get on the air, when you are live on the broadcast, you really can't be scrambling and looking up information. It's too late at that point. So your preparation is really important. So I like to give myself a couple of hours at the start when I get in on a game day. And then, game days can get crazy too. You have different responsibilities. There's been times where I've been the person that's, carrying down the water into the visiting team's dugout. You never know what may come up. But I usually like to talk with the marketing staff before the game. That group and I are pretty close. I was a marketing major in college myself, so love talking about what they're doing on social media or what they have planned for in the game. Sometimes they give me some fun things to share on the broadcast. Learning a little bit more about the organization, even more so than just the team side. And then probably about like 30 minutes to an hour before the game starts, I'll go grab the lineup from our home coaching staff and also the visitors to kind of get a little bit more prepared in terms of, okay, here's the specific pitching matchup. Here are the guys in the lineup today. What are some things we can take there? And then usually if I have some time still in between there, I'll try to go down to the locker room and chat with some of the players before the game. Especially if we have a new pitcher, for example. I want to know what pitch types he throws, or a new hitter, where does this guy come from, where was he playing last year. So it really helps to get a little face-to-face connection with some of the guys that you're going to be talking about on the air during your broadcast. So anytime I can make those connections, I try to make sure to do that. So game days can get pretty crazy. As I said, for me, it really just kind of comes down to my preparation when it comes to the broadcasting side. So definitely can be a long day, and that's what you're going to get in the sports industry. But I've loved doing it so far.
Fantastic. We love it. And since we were talking about this is your first year as a broadcaster with the Hoots, the Chillicothe Paints, that's the closest team to where we live. They're a charter member. I mean, there was a Chillicothe Paints before there was a prospect league. Chillicothe and some other teams, when the Frontier League was kind of dwindling away, those remaining Frontier League teams kind of joined up with the Central Illinois league teams, and what we now call the Prospect League was born. And so that league has really changed over the years since we've been seeing it. But I'm real curious, since this is kind of your first year in the organization working with a team. What's your take on the Prospect League? It's a pretty unique league. So what was like you expected it to be, and what's kind of surprised you about Prospect League baseball?
Yeah, I think the Prospect League as a whole, it really kind of struck me when I initially started doing my research, before the season even started, just how many variety of college, players are within the league. We have the main Power 5 Division I players. There's players from the University of Alabama in the league. There's players from Ole Miss, Tennessee, power dominant programs in the SEC. And then we can go all the way down to Division III, NCAA. We can look at NAIA players. We can look at junior college players. So it's really just a huge haul of players that are looking to get more exposure in a wood bat league, to get some more reps in for this summer. So I thought that side of things was really interesting. And maybe one thing that kind of surprised me, as we've gone on a little bit longer in the season, is that even some high school seniors have made an impact. Like even from an O'Fallon Hoots standpoint specifically, they have a player named Jake McCutcheon who he just finished up his senior year of high school. He's going to be attending Missouri State University at the Division I level, and he's 18 years old. He's one of our youngest players, but he fits in really well. He was fortunately named Collegiate Baseball's second team All-American list, so he's a really highly regarded player, and he's really fit in really well in our infield and what we're trying to do. So I think that's one of the biggest things. I think when I think like the word prospect, what's kind of coming up. So especially some of those younger players, guys who just finished their senior high school, they're still 18 years old. They really, when those players go out, that really stands out a lot above some older competition that they'll be playing in the next few years.
I'm with you. It's amazing the number. I mean, it's not like it happens all the time, but every now and then you'll get a situation where there's like a D1 pitcher and a JUCO batter, and it's like there's a guy on second and two outs, and the game's kind of on the line, and it's never a foregone conclusion what's going to happen at the end of that. It's the level of competition still somehow you lose track sometimes. I mean, yeah, there's still some just really, really great players who perform in any one of those situations. But like you were saying, it's not always the D1 guys from the big power conferences that are doing that.
Yeah, no doubt. I think like especially even like to take a hoot side of that as well. Like we do have that situation. One of our top players this year is Noah Fisher. He was a dominant hitter this year at the Division 1 level with Northern Kentucky University. He had really good stats coming in, got some power, and that's really translated. And you do see that side of things. For like a 22-year-old guy, one of the older guys on our team. But there also is times where we have guys that play junior college. We have one of those hitters named Noah Juris, who's been a really impact player for us both as a catcher, as an outfielder. This season, the Hoots really like to run. And he's got a lot of speed and offers us a lot of value. So I think it really just shows that if you have a role, like it doesn't matter where you come from or what level of play that you're at, you can still fill that here in the prospect league. And everyone's just really doing this for their own development. So we make sure that we're cycling through guys to get everyone their opportunity to play. So I like that side of it as well. We do see a lot of those kind of interesting scenarios where, maybe you have like an all, power five battery that they're attacking these, young hitters that haven't gotten a ton of experience yet. But, there's still good competitiveness throughout the entire league, without a doubt.
You're a hockey guy too. Compare the hockey experience to the baseball experience in your various roles.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys brought that side of things up as well. Hoping to get back into hockey after this season wraps up for baseball. But I've been working in junior hockey for the better part of the last year before I got into hockey, or before I got into baseball rather. And they are totally different, I would say, in terms of like the culture, the pace. There's so many things that are different between hockey and baseball. I think like one thing that really struck me getting into baseball is just kind of how managers deal with arms. I think that is kind of a really interesting thing because especially in a prospect league, these are other teams' players, college players that are coming in. We want to make sure that we're talking with their coaching staff so we're using them correctly and not, wearing down their arm to where they're, it's not like a safe practice. So it's interesting. Like pitchers, like a starting pitcher, you may only show up, once or twice a week to do a bullpen session and for your start. In the hockey world, if you don't show up for a practice or a game, you're going to get cut off the team immediately. So it's just totally different how those kind of cultures are. I mentioned the pace as well. Baseball, we don't know how long the game's going to take. It could be 2.5 hours. It could be 4 hours. A hockey game usually we're pretty set at in terms of that'll be like a 2.5 hour game, maybe 2 hours 45 minutes if it goes to overtime. So there's just a little kind of inherent differences in terms of the culture and the pace between the two sports. But for me, I think it gives me a nice balance. I love being at the hockey rinks in the winter and at the baseball park in the summer. So it's a nice transition for me, and I've enjoyed both, but there are certainly a lot of differences between the two.
How should someone who wants to do what you're doing prepare while they're in high school or college?
That's a really good question. I think for me, I mentioned at the start, or at least we talked about, doing podcasts. I think that was something that gave me a lot of confidence in terms of being a verbal communicator, knowing how to prepare for a show, being able to recruit guests, being able to, come up with topics and ideas for what we could talk about to keep content fresh. And I think that really kind of translated nicely for me in doing broadcasting, where, I'm on the air for longer. It's a longer broadcast than when I just do podcasts. But it got me in the habit of talking for extended periods of time. And I think that was something that gave me a lot of confidence. And certainly I wasn't the best at it when I started when it comes to podcasts, but without a doubt, I think it helped me transition into broadcasting. And then I think like a big thing, not even necessarily in just broadcasting, but the sports world in general. I think like your network and the people that really kind of carries your potential in your career. So if you're someone in high school or college, like I would definitely encourage you to be proactive about reaching out to other people that work in the sports industry. And it can even just start with people that maybe someone that's like, oh, I know this person that works for this team, or maybe it's not even that strong of a connection. But I think for me, I really found out that the more active I am at reaching out to other people and being genuine about building connections and learning more about career paths in sports, that's really helped me out in terms of genuinely learning about what goes on in sports and finding out where my role is and where I fit in. But in terms of getting opportunities as well. So I think networking is a huge piece that I didn't even really start getting into much until I was in college. So if you're someone that you're in high school or just kind of starting off in college, if you're proactive about reaching out to others that work in sports, and you want to get involved in it and serious about it, then starting early is definitely the best way to go about it. So I mean, I think you guys are doing a great thing with the podcast here, and that can definitely prepare you well for potential career down the line.
Yeah, you mentioned getting started in the broadcasting side of things now with your sports experience. I gotta throw this one in. Who did you really kind of gravitate to? Who did you like? Who did you pay attention to as an announcer, as either baseball or just sports as you were growing up? I got to tell you, from the Cincinnati area here, me being the age that I am, I grew up on Marty Brenneman and Joe Nuxall. They were the radio guys for the Reds for so many years, and Marty was just always there. TV, I was Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon baseball games. It was Vin Scully and Joe Garagiola that we always heard on the national games on the networks. As I grew up a little bit, I got to hear Gary Thorne do hockey games and baseball games some, and so I think that was the first guy that I ever heard that was like, oh my gosh, somebody's doing two different sports. This is incredible. That somebody would, and so I loved Gary Thorne. Who is that? Who are those people for you that you kind of grew up on?
Sure, yeah, there's definitely a couple. I mean, you mentioned Vin Scully. I think he's an absolute legend. Fortunately, I was able to listen to him for just a little bit towards the end of his career. But I mean, anytime you can listen to even just one game of Vin Scully, that's going to leave an impact on you. So he's definitely a legend. But in terms of me kind of growing up, I think one of my favorite commentators was Gus Johnson. He calls a lot of football games, either pro or college. So he always has just so much passion and enthusiasm for the game. Like I always think about him calling games like Ohio State Buckeyes games, and he's just fired up watching the Buckeyes tear up some scrub opponent in the non-conference early on in the year. So I always liked listening to Gus Johnson, but I guess from a baseball standpoint, I grew up a Chicago Cubs fan, so fortunately I was able to listen to Len Casper for many years before he left for the White Sox radio gig. He's always been one of my favorites. He's honestly someone that I try to kind of emulate a little bit of what he does and what I can do as a broadcaster. He was working a lot of times with Jim DeShays, especially during that 2016 Cubs run. I tried to watch just about every game I could that season because it was such a special one for the Cubs. So Len Casper, without a doubt, has left a big impact on me. And I try to take a lot of the things that he does in his broadcast into what I can do for the Hoots.
You're a Chicago native. What are the best places to go eat in Chicago?
Yeah, that's an amazing question because there's just so many places in Chicago that are just outstanding. My family and I will always try to find any excuse we can just to drive into the city just to go get a meal on like a weekend night or whatnot. But I mean, there's a lot of good pizza. I have to say, I have to defend deep dish pizza for a little bit. My favorite deep dish pizza is definitely Lou Malnati's. Lou Malnati's, don't let anyone tell you differently. That's the best deep dish pizza out there. I always get a pepperoni deep dish pizza. And it's spot on every time. There's also like Pizzeria Uno's and Pizzeria Due's as well. But for me, I'm definitely taking Lou Malnati's for my deep dish pizza. And then I guess for like a more high quality, like fancy meal, kind of like one of the most highly regarded places in Chicago is called Chicago Cut. It's a restaurant right along the Chicago River, right downtown Chicago. Incredible seafood, incredible steak. They just have everything they have there is just amazing. It's a little bit more of an expensive meal, but if you're out with your family and they're willing to provide, Chicago Cut's definitely a great spot for you. So that's what I have to say about Chicago food. Go get some Lou Malnati's during the day and work your way over to Chicago Cut for a nice meal at the end of the night.
Quentin and I, last time we were in Chicago was like 4 years ago. Now it's 2018, and Cubs were not in town at the time, but we got a chance to do the Wrigley Field tour. By the way, they're still doing those, I assume. It is one of the best values and one of the best experiences in sports that's not an actual game. It was incredible. Our tour guide was a lawyer, and he's an actual working attorney in Chicago, and he just kind of does it for fun on his off days. And you get a good tour guide who's going to be an entertainer and a storyteller to go along with just the whole experience in there, and it's just an incredible thing. I gotta, I'm right along with you about, because while I was there, I remember one evening, we had a dinner at Ditka's, which was a fantastic experience, beautiful restaurant, fantastic food. But there's something about buying a hot dog out of a cart on the street corner that just screams Chicago.
It's very Chicago. I like on the hot dog note. That I'm glad you brought that up because like the best, like if you ask any person from Chicago, they're gonna tell you that Portillo's is like the greatest restaurant in the history of the world. They have hot dogs, Italian beef, burgers, cheese fries, chocolate cake. Like it's unbelievable what they have. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because like hot dog stands, Chicago hot dogs, that's always such a classic thing to get. I went with the deep dish pizza, but yeah, Portillo's like that was always my first meal. Anytime I came back home, like when I was away for college or whatnot, Portillo's was 100% the go-to best hot dog in Chicago without a doubt.
All right, thank you so much. We've been sitting with Ryan Kearney from the O'Fallon Hoots, broadcaster. And thank you so much, Ryan, for sitting in, joining us for a little while today. We really appreciate your time.
Yeah, you bet. Happy to do it, guys. Glad you guys have a lot of passion for the Prospects League. I know I've enjoyed it in just about a month so far into our first season. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun and great chatting with you guys. It's been a blast.
We are almost to the halfway point of the Prospect League 2022 season. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 7. We will be back soon with more interviews and our recap of the first half to see who's in the playoffs and who to watch for the second half. We also have a very special road trip planned. We will see you at the ballpark.